Hello, my friends. I'm Becky. Welcome to the Empowered Indie Artists YouTube channel. I hope that everything is going well in your life right now. This is where you come if you are a creative person and you're trying to figure out how to monetize your skills, how to earn a sustainable living, how to actually build a career that fits your personality and your skill set. This video in particular, I love the concept of really honing in on a very specific skill with music. And writing for sync is something that I think you've probably heard of it by now because it's becoming ever more popular, which also means it's becoming a bit saturated. And in case you don't know, writing for sync, what sync is short for synchronization. And all of the music that you hear when you're watching your Netflix shows or any documentaries or movies or even commercials, the music that you're hearing has been composed, produced, written, sung by people all over the world. And oftentimes it's not just one person doing everything. A lot of times it's a collaboration of various people. And um, I feel like this is a place where a lot of creatives can insert themselves in a way that says, okay, well, for example, let's take me. I when I was younger in my, teens to early 20s, I really thought that I wanted to be a singer-songwriter, but in my 20s, I put tons of money into an album and then I had to go out and perform to support the album and try and sell them. And yet I was a horrible performer because I was intensely nervous, like stage fright really, really badly. Um, to the point where I'm sure people were like, "What is that girl doing up there singing like she thinks she's a singer?" I sounded so bad. And actually, I was so nervous in the studio recording that I didn't sound a whole lot better on the album. So what ended up happening was I put tons of money into an album that wasn't really all that good because of my own inability to perform and just not really knowing who I was as an artist. Then, which extended into trying to support it as a live act, which was just disastrous, if you ask me. And I ended up with boxes of CDs. This was back in the day when CDs were our medium. I ended up with boxes of CDs sitting in my parents' garage, uh, all of which I ended up donating, I think. Don't be me, okay? But, what happened was I ended up realizing that my very happy place was in the creative process as a singer, but oftentimes it was just being part of the creative process in any way. I loved it. And so I learned to produce, I learned to record, and really got good at creating vocal effects and stacks and harmonies, and because that was always my love, was the singing and the creating of lots of textures with vocals. And so now, forward all of these years, and it's been a number of years, I love being in the studio, working with singers, and oftentimes working with singers that I never meet, where they're recording their own vocals in their own home studio, and I'm doing all of the production and final mix. So, for the purpose of music to pitch for film and TV. I mean, that's beautiful because I don't ever have to get in front of an audience. I get to do what I love to do, which is the creative process of working with an artist. So let's jump into, I've got 5 tips for writing for sync. Now, this isn't about the industry, like getting into the industry. This is about actually writing songs that have potential for getting sync placements. First thing is, a lot of times a sync brief will look like we need any genre. So they'll say pop, hip hop, country, whatever, any genre with the theme of, empowerment or the theme of getting over lost love. So a lot of times these briefs will be not about genre, but about the theme. So I'm going to take you to Crucial Music, which is a boutique music library. They are a non exclusive library, I think, most of the time. And anybody can submit to them, but they are very boutique. They're very picky. So I'll put their link in the description so you can check them out. But only pitch your best stuff. And a lot of times it'll take 2 to 3 months before they even get back to you. But just know if they don't pick it, it's okay. It doesn't mean you're a horrible writer or I should just give up, because I usually have about 50% of my stuff that I pitch to them rejected. So, but then they accept the other 50% and they've gotten me great placements. So, anyway, this is a great library to look into. Okay, the reason why I'm going to their website is this is a great example of what a music library wants you to know about your song, which in turn is going to help you see what kinds of things they're looking for. Um, they will ask you for the genre and the subgenre. I'm not going to look at that because that can be really hard to figure out what your genre is, but you just make your best guess, okay? Now let's go to moods. This is tip number one is writing a song in accordance to a mood or something that lines up with a specific mood. And let's look at all of the moods. So you could look at all of these moods and say, okay, today I want to write a song that is cheerful, confident, exciting. You can just pick. And I think when you submit a song, they only allow you to choose 10 of these moods. And then they'll say, okay, that's the max. So you can pick any 10, and that can be inspiration for how to write your next song. Okay, so that's idea number one, tip number one. Tip number two is to write to a lyrical theme. And again, we're going to click and see what they have. Uh, if you had to pick maybe just a few, addiction, alcohol, anti-school, anti-society, you can see there's just tons of things. Some real general themes like youth, or more specific things like, well, I think addiction is pretty specific, or alcohol. Um, Anyway, you can go ahead and pick your favorite few lyrical themes, write a song in that will line up with that lyrical theme. Tip number three is keep the lyrics non-specific but still really interesting and engaging. This can be a really tricky area for people because lyrics need to be they can't be boring. They can't be like rehashed, reused phrases that we've heard a million times. What specific lyrics do is they make it difficult for that music supervisor to play a scene. Let's say they have a scene and it's taking place at a bar at night, and they want this music that you have the right mood, but then your lyric says walking in the park in the middle of the day. Now they can't use that song. You see what I mean? Here's a great book that I'm going to tell you about. Shortcut to Songwriting for Film and TV by Robin Frederick, sorry. And I found this book to be the most useful with lyric writing in a way that fits film and TV, because lyrics are not my strong suit. Melodies I can, come up with endlessly, but lyrics I have to dig deeper. And so she has some great exercises in there, a great way to think about how to make the lyrics non-generic, but connect with an audience without being so specific that now your song is unusable. So definitely check out that book especially for the lyric writing for sync. Tip number 4 is to collaborate. Now, in the sync world, there's a lot of people who are absolutely willing to collaborate. For example, me as a producer slash mix engineer, like I mentioned before, I really love working with great singers who can record themselves, because that's, in and of itself a lot of work. When I work with artists and am producing songs for them to release as an artist, that's part of the process of creating a song together. They come to my studio and we record. And I enjoy that aspect as well. But if I'm doing something for sync, I'm not getting paid up front most 99.9% of the time. This is all back end. So it's like an investment of your time. If the top line writer slash singer is investing their time and their skills in their own studio, and I'm investing my skills and my time in the production and then in the mix, it feels really equal. It feels balanced. So if you have a skill set, but not all skills, like I'm not the kind of singer that would pull over a lot of the sync stuff today. I have a very mild, mellow, blendy voice, kind of like, well, a choir voice. I do sing in a choir and am classically trained. So I can't really get like the gritty anthemic pop vocal or even that like petty pop kind of sobby vocal. I can't really get that in my own voice, which is totally fine. I find there are a ton of singers that have way better voices than I do, and I absolutely love working with them. And it takes all that pressure off of me for, being the singer too. So find people that complement your skill set and collaborate with them. And if they get freaked out about the word collaboration, it's probably because they don't have enough experience working in the world of sync, but this is oftentimes how it works. You collaborate, you put all of your eggs in the basket, you're investing together, you both have skin in the game, and now you're hoping to pitch and get a really good placement, and then you split everything equally. Okay, tip number 5, hone your skills. Okay, let's say that you are a singer and you are a top line writer and you can just kill it, but you are not confident in your ability to record yourself. Or let's say maybe you can record yourself, but the editing and comping and exporting files and all of that technical stuff has you freaked out. Well, never fear. That is a skill you can develop. All of the skills are skills you can develop. Let's say you are just learning how to produce and you don't feel like you quite have the sound that you need in order to get things to sound polished and finished. That's okay, because that too is a skill that you can continue to work on and develop. Mixing, producing, there are a ton of resources out there to help you get that skill zeroed in. Okay, now just for joining me on this video, I do have a freebie for you. In the link below, there's a sign up to my email list, and I will send you the vocal production cheat sheet. And this is for you singers out there that are definitely interested in honing your skills as a vocal producer. I've helped you figure out how to label your files in a way that your producer and audio engineer would want to receive them. And I've got some other tips in there that will help you figure out how to categorize them. I hope you'll take advantage of it. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.